So thank you everyone for joining us for today's webinar, Built for You Sedex platform. Before we introduce our speakers, I'd like to cover off some housekeeping topics. So today's webinar is being recorded. We will email you the recording after the event is finished so you can rewatch the event or share it with your colleagues. Please, if everyone could ensure that their microphone is on mute throughout the webinar. And we will be also answering questions that you have at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to add them in the Q&A chat box at the bottom of your screen at any time throughout the presentation. I'm now going to hand over the floor to Rebecca Pell, who's going to start today's presentation. Rebecca, over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this session with us today. Just a reminder for those of you who are still coming in, there are over 300 people who have joined us, which is great, but if you could all keep yourselves on mute and send any comments or questions through the chat box at the bottom of your screen, that would be amazing. Thank you. So who will you be hearing from today? My name's Rebecca Pell. I am the head of the customer.
Rebecca, you've been muted.
Thank you. We'll also be hearing from a group of the Sedex team who are very crucial to building the platform, our product managers. So we'll be hearing from Katrina, Sarab, Sarah and Joe. We'll also be hearing from Dr. Rebecca White, who is the head of our training team here at Sedex as well. Moving on to the important agenda, we'll be looking at what we're building. We'll also be having a look at what we achieved and delivered for you in 2021. Moving forward to this year, we'll be having a look at what we will be delivering for you in the 2022 roadmap. And we'll be looking and sharing a bit more detail around exactly what we've been working on most recently. And then also what we will be delivering in the next few months, so in the imminent future. Please do send any Q&A or questions.
Can you have me in the global meeting, but I cannot hear anything.
Sorry. Anyone who's not on mute, it would be great if you could put yourself on mute.
Yeah, let's start a meeting, but I cannot hear since yesterday.
We will be going through some Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions, please put them through the chat box at the bottom, as Tom mentioned earlier. So what is it exactly that we are building? We are building a world-leading responsible business platform that provides the ability for businesses to easily access, identify, and manage risks in responsible supply chains. We're giving you access to a wide range of data to make important business decisions. The foundation for accessing this information and tools is through the Sedex platform. Up until now, we've been doing that through Sedex Advance. But last year, we announced our new platform transformation plans for 2021 and 2022. And the fact that we've made some significant investments in new technology to be able to deliver more capabilities for our members, which is you. Our world-leading platform currently supports more than 60,000 members in over 180 countries to operate ethically, supporting fair working conditions and enhance and protect reputation. Through the platform and our other solutions, Sedex can help you build visibility by creating relationships and give you access to intelligence to be able to understand your supply chains. We're enabling you to share and report on social and ethical information about your supply chains quickly and easily. We're allowing you to manage and improve your suppliers' performance and also therefore your own business practices as well around labour standards, health and safety, the environment and business ethics, which are the 4 pillars of Sedex. We also give you the capability to collaborate and exchange information with multiple customers through the platform, being able to therefore embed good practices throughout your business and supply chain. So now on to the more interesting part, exactly what we've been achieving for you in 2021. So you can see from this slide that we have been very busy, and those of you who have been following our journey to date will have a little bit of knowledge about exactly what those deliverables have been, but I'll go through those in a bit more detail now. So we've been really busy speaking to more of you than we ever have, to be able to understand more information around supporting you to solve some complex challenges that you face. This year, 8,000 members gave us survey feedback, 500 members tested new features, and we ran more than 20 workshops to be able to deliver what we have so far and what we will be delivering in 2022. So what you can see here is a summary of those activities. We launched Site Status in April, that's the tool that gives you a summary of your supplier statuses. We've had feedback from customers that a job that took nearly a minute now only takes 5 seconds. So we've had some real tangible metrics to be able to demonstrate that we are saving you time when using the platform. The supplier invite feature was launched, which allows you to invite new suppliers or buyer members to invite new suppliers to join Sedex via the new platform. And we now see a 51% conversion rate. In addition to that, we also made improvements in May as part of our continuous development to automatically recognize existing suppliers and link to them instead. As part of our iterative way of working and making continuous improvements, we also made some design changes to Site Status to make it clearer that you can click and interact with the table. In July, we worked with a small number of members to gather feedback on our first API product. And we're now gathering lots of important requirements to be able to launch a further iteration of that API later on this year. In August, we added 3 new languages to the platform to increase accessibility. And in September, we launched an early access group, or EAG, to get feedback on our new site linking feature, making it easier for A&AB members to connect suppliers to customers. For suppliers in October, we also made it easier for them to see the management controls report, which is based on your SAQ and giving you more access to insights. So we're aware that some of you may be new to the introduction of the new platform transformation, and we wanted to share with you exactly how you can access the new features. Not every user or type of user will have a feature that's applicable to them at the moment. So as we go through the presentation and we share some more information around the different features and the benefits, and you think that you should have access to some of those features, but you can't see the new platform either in the top right-hand corner of the system or the new platform box at the bottom, as shown by these arrows, then please do contact either the help desk or your relationship manager. Alternatively, there is also an email address which we'll share on the last slide of this presentation if you do have any issues with accessing the new platform, if you think that you should have access to any of these new features. So in terms of what we will be delivering in 2022, another busy slide. There are lots of features, some that are in development already and have had lots of research against, some which are planned to be done in the near future. I'm not going to go into everything in detail that's on this slide, but you'll have access to a version of this after the recording. In summary, throughout this year, we'll continue embedding the new platform, developing new functionality, supercharging performance, and delivering a next generation experience for you and your teams. The main areas that I wanted to just highlight on this slide are that we'll be making it easier for all members to access the new platform. We'll be improving the audit workflow. We're also improving our data and reporting tools to help members surface more insights more easily. We're helping our members improve their supply chain visibility, and we're also improving the quality and accuracy of our assessment tools, particularly the self-assessment questionnaire, or SAQ, and also SMETA, which is the audit methodology owned by Sedex. I'm now going to hand over to Katrina, who's going to take us through one of the features that she's particularly been working on. Thanks, Katrina.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good morning and afternoon to everybody, depending on where you are. So one of the problems highlighted to us as product managers was how difficult it can be for members to link to other members. And as we approached this problem, we decided to first look at how we can facilitate our AB members more efficiently sharing their ethical data from their supplier up to their customer. And we know that A and AB members want visibility beyond their direct suppliers, but that it can be difficult to do so, to know who to link to in the first place, and then to track the progress of any of those link requests that have been made. And Tom, could you move on to the next slide, please? So what we've done is we've therefore developed the new site linking feature accessible in the new platform. This feature enables members to create a link on behalf of their supplier and their customer, i.e. becoming the intermediary in the link. The feature allows the intermediary member to search for their supplier, send a request to them, and ask them to give permission to link and share their data to the nominated customer. The supplier is able to accept the request easily from within the email that they receive without having to log into the platform, and the buyer is informed that this relationship has been made straight away. And this means that data like SAQ and audit is shared more quickly to the end customer. Next slide, please. The intermediary member who sent the original request can also track this request in the Manage Linking widget, which is seen on the platform. They can see what requests have been sent by any user within their company and see which remain just sent and which have been accepted by toggling between the view. And once created, those links will then be able to be managed in the Sedex Advanced platform currently, and in the future will move over to the new platform. So the main benefit of this feature is that suppliers are more easily able to accept the link request and share their data, and the buyer members are able to better track the progress of this. Ultimately, ethical data will be shared more efficiently between the three members in the linking chain. The feature is currently in an early access group stage, but it's due to be rolled out to the wider membership soon in the next coming months. But if you'd like more information about the feature, it can already be found in the Sedex Help Center on the Sedex website. I'm now going to pass you over to Sarah, who's going to talk to you more about supplier registration.
Thanks, Katrina. Hello, everyone. I am Saurabh Sabnis, or some of you might know me as Sap, and I am a product manager at Sedex. I have been working on improving the onboarding experience for our buyers and supplier members. Now, when we say onboarding, it's worth noting that it's not just supplier joining Sedex, but it involves suppliers needing to register, paying for their membership, updating the company and site details, starting with their self-assessment questionnaire, and more importantly, linking with their buyers, providing visibility of site and SAQ. Now, one of the feedback that we received from our members is that it takes a long time to onboard a new supplier. Now, you must be aware that we launched the Invite a Supplier feature last year, which makes it easier and quicker for buyer members to invite new suppliers. However, it was still time consuming for suppliers to complete all the necessary steps, which increase the overall onboarding times. So we have made some improvements also on the supplier side when they follow the invite from buyer. So if we go on to the next one. So suppliers now go through a new registration journey. So on the screen, you can see a couple of screenshots of what the first screen looks like when suppliers click on the invite email, which comes from their buyer. And the second image is about a page which asks them to confirm their site address. And once confirmed, suppliers will end up on the new supplier dashboard, which is a newly created interface on the new platform for suppliers with a single site. Now, apart from an improved user interface, as you can see on the screen, the supplier dashboard also clearly illustrates what steps are required to be completed and what needs to be done next. And suppliers will be prompted to complete the steps in the order that is displayed on the screen, and they can only proceed to the next step by completing the previous step. Now, the benefit of this is that new members would not get lost on the new platform when they end up on Sedex for the first time, not knowing what they need to do next, which will eventually improve the user experience and also reduce the onboarding time. Next, please. Now, we have also made some improvements on the payment experience, allowing suppliers to make card payments within the new platform on an improved user interface, as you can see on the screen, which is much quicker and simpler compared to Sedex Advance. Now, in the first release, the new supplier dashboard and card payments is only accessible to new suppliers joining Sedex following a buyer invite and choosing to register only one site. And only card payments are currently supported within the new platform, whereas payments through bank transfer will still take place on Sedex Advance. Next, please. Can I request everyone to please be on mute? Thank you. Another challenge shared by our buyer members was that suppliers do not respond to the invite request and they cannot resend the invite. Now, we agreed that buyer members should not have to chase their suppliers following an invite. However, we also know that suppliers have a lot of things to do and they can easily miss out on the invite from the buyer. So we have implemented a solution which works for both buyers as well as suppliers, that is automated reminders. We go next. So after an invite is sent and the supplier has not responded to that invite for a week, then an automated reminder is sent to the supplier. If the supplier for some reason has still not responded to the reminder after a week, then a second reminder is sent to them. Now, this ensures that buyers do not have to chase their suppliers and suppliers get a reminder in case they have missed out on the original invite. Next, please. And lastly, as a buyer member, I would like to know which of my invites that I've sent to suppliers have not been delivered. And to solve this problem, we implemented a new section under Manage Invites, which you can see on the next screen, which is called Not Delivered, which allows buyer members to see which of their invites have not reached the supplier at all. And they can accordingly then resend the invite to a new email address or check the email address and try again. Now I'll hand over to Rebecca, who will take you through what's coming in Q1. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Sab. So what can we look forward to being released in Q1 of this year? This slide shows a snapshot of all of the new features and functionalities that we will be releasing in the next 3 months. So this quarter is a particularly busy one, and here are the different areas that have been broken down for you. We will be hearing from some of the team around these features in more detail, but as a highlight, we will imminently be releasing and launching our new e-learning platform, and Rebecca White will be sharing some more information around that in this session. We will also be releasing 3 new languages within the platform: Japanese, Turkish, and Vietnamese. So everything within the new platform will be supported with these 3 additional languages, as well as Chinese, Spanish, and English. We will be launching the ability to manage relationships in the new platform, a shorter process with better guidance and better workflow than there currently is in Sedex Advanced. We'll also be making some small changes to issue titles. We'll be clarifying them and realigning them with SMETA, and also removing some unnecessary duplication, which makes it a little bit more complicated in terms of reporting as well. So this means that there will be some better understanding across the board and a more efficient use. We're also launching the supplier dashboard and new payment process, and this will allow a quicker and easier onboarding process, which benefits both buyers and suppliers. On the side of the self-assessment questionnaire, we are launching a new and improved friendly interface. So this allows the user to complete the first section of the SAQ more quickly and more easily within the new platform with updated functionality and workflows. Lastly, but not least, we are releasing a compliance dashboard, which gives you the ability to apply for buyers to apply personalized filters onto your suppliers in terms of compliance. This will allow you to receive quick and actionable insights to be able to understand more quickly and easily where you should focus and direct your resource to be able to really manage internally where you need to focus. And with that being said, I'm going to hand over to Joe, who's going to take us through the details of the compliance dashboard. Thanks, Joe.
Lovely, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Joe. I'm a product manager here at Sedex, looking after data and insight products. The problem that we're trying to solve is how to gain more insight from Sedex data. So historically, Sedex have focused on creating more reports and more granular data, which you as buyers can then go in and download which reports are most relevant to you and derive your own insight. The problems that we've had with this is the majority of people are having to download up to 4 or 5 different reports, combine them offline, and then use that to grade suppliers, understand compliance, look where they need to direct attention. So what we're looking to do is create a product that allows you to have all of that information in one site, be able to gain insight from that product straight away, and to be able to use your own parameters and your own requirements as a company to make that insight work for you. Can I ask for the next slide, please, Tom? So this is the compliance dashboard. The product that we're going to be launching, and we're aiming to launch that in the next month or so, is essentially a combination of 3 reports that we currently have in analytics. This allows you to look at data around all your suppliers, their membership status, their audit status, their non-compliances, and now radar risk as well, and control scores, all in one place side by side. Alongside that, we also have the concept of metric blocks, which are the 4 blocks that you can see on the screen. Each one of these provides insight into areas of your supply chain. So for example, on the left, you have incomplete SAQs. We know that different members have different requirements when it comes to what constitutes a complete SAQ. So you'll now be able to configure your dashboards to be 95% complete, to be 50% complete, 60% complete, whatever it is that your organization requires as a compliance criteria. Moving on, we have lapsed membership. You can change what constitutes a lapsed membership. And for the first time, we now allow you to look at the audits that have been conducted and start putting in what your audit cadence should be. So when you know that based on SAQ completedness, based on radar risk and other factors, if you know that you want certain suppliers to be audited every 2 years versus every 4 years, you can now configure this board to do just that. Once configured, you'll be able to log in and see these saved, and the insight will be there right in front of you. Yeah, that's everything on the compliance dashboard. If you'd like to be involved in early access to this and help us shape data products, then there'll be some information on how you can get in contact with us to take part at the end of the presentation. But for now, I'll pass on to Sarah G, who'll be talking to us about SAQ. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So the problem that my team has been working on is this one on the slide in front of us. I want to increase my suppliers' self-assessment. Apologies, I had a sudden message on my screen. I want to increase my suppliers' self-assessment questionnaire, or SAQ as we frequently call it in Sedex, completion rate. So when we started looking at this, there are obviously a lot of different factors for why it takes suppliers a while to complete their SAQ. The biggest problem that we found reported again and again for the SAQ as it's currently presented in Sedex Advance is how slow the pages are to load, which obviously is incredibly frustrating when you're the person trying to answer the questions and you're still waiting for the questions to load. It also just takes up time because you have to wait for everything to appear and you have to make sure that everything is on the page before you can start answering it. So as this is something that it was felt couldn't really be tackled usefully in Sedex Advance, we've taken the solution to move the SAQ, or start moving the SAQ rather, over to the new platform. We've started to rebuild it, which also allows us to tackle some of the other problems addressed to us around navigation, particularly for new suppliers. We had a lot of reports that new suppliers struggled to find the SAQ when they first joined Sedex, and around usability that we've heard complaints of from a number of members over the years. So could we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So this is just a quick peek at what it's going to look like. I will say at this point, this is just for new suppliers at this stage. So if you're a supplier and you're on this call, don't worry, nothing is changing with your SAQ right now. If you've already done it, you've got it. You're staying where you are for the moment. This is for new suppliers initially, who are just registering on Sedex. So this will allow them to come in through the onboarding journey that Saurabh introduced us all to earlier in this presentation, and then click through the dashboard very easily into the next step, which is of course the SAQ. Once you're through there, thank you, Tom, we can then see this is our redesign of the SAQ, which is much clearer than the presentation of the questionnaire that's on Advance at the moment. We've done testing. People do seem to understand it better. Of particular note, you can see on the right-hand side, there's a navigation bar, which makes it easier to see where you are and how much you've still got to fill in. And with the questions themselves, we've tried to make the multiple choices more visual on the page, so you can see what your options are. You can also see the guidance, it's immediately presented there, rather than having to scroll over the tooltips, which people often struggle with, particularly again with the slowness of the page. We know that sometimes people cannot see the guidance available to them. So this is a much better presentation, which will be much more usable for suppliers and will help them to fill out the questionnaire more quickly for their buyers. So that's the next phase of the SAQ that's coming out. I will now pass on to Katrina to talk about what her pod's working on next.
Thanks, Sarah, and hello again, everybody. So similarly to previously, I just wanted to re-raise the issue of being able to easily link to other members and share information, and also manage those existing relationships, or links as we call them now, in the platform. So Tom, if you could switch, please. So in the next few months, we will start providing the ability for all members, so A, B, and B members, to set up and manage links in the new platform. We're going to be releasing features in stages, starting to see with the ability to see all your existing relationships or links in a new style table, and the ability to set up links with existing members by using the widgets that you can see on the side. So set up a link or link suppliers as buyers, which I talked about earlier. Any existing relationships already attached to your company account or a subsidiary company, if you have one in your membership, will be available in this table from the outset. So all data that you currently have in advance will be pulled across straight away, so you won't be losing any of your existing links. As you can see from the design, we've given the linking table a new look and feel. We've decluttered some of the columns, and we'll bring in filters and sorting similar to the style that we already have available in Site Status. So if you're already an A and AB member using the new platform, you'll be familiar with that new style of filtering. And any functionality that you currently have in regards to your links in advance will be replicated in the new platform. So moving this information over to the new platform will not impact analytics, radar, or reporting in any way. We'll still be feeding all those downstream functions, but it's just a new look and style and feel to how you continue to manage those relationships and set up new ones. Next slide, please. So as before in advance, when you want to view more information about the link or action something, you can click on some of the icons. So similarly, if you click on any of the action icons, you'll still be able to see the same information that you currently have about the link, including the site name, ZS number, the visibility permissions, dates the link was created, etc. And if you, as a user, have editing rights, you'll still be able to continue to edit this as normal and reject, accept, add, or remove sites as you normally would already. We'll continue to move you back to the site page in advance if you need to by clicking on the hyperlink of the site name. And then you can access the FAQ and all the information again as you normally would already. So that's just a very brief overview of the future linking area in advance, in the new platform, sorry. I just wanted to highlight that I know that there is a lot of interest in supply chain visibility. We're very aware of this. This was the first step that we needed to take to try and get you that extra depth in your supply chain. So by moving this, your links and your existing relationships over to the new platform, we're going to be better able to facilitate that in the future. And this is our first step towards doing that in the next 6 months or 12 months. And I'm now going to pass you over to Rebecca White, who'll be able to talk to you about the new e-learning platform.
Thanks, Katrina. So I'm going to be talking to you about a challenge that our team has been set, which was that we frequently heard from members that they wanted to be able to access training content more easily. So I lead the training team at Sedex, and we've been working really hard over the last 4 months to set up a new Sedex e-learning platform. This was developed very much with this request or challenge in mind, and we will be launching this imminently. So we aim to launch our new e-learning platform within the next week. If you go to the next slide, please, Tom. So this is a minimum viable product launch. And what I mean by that is that we will be increasing the amount of content on this platform over time. We will be expanding the functionality that it has. We also have initially released it in 3 languages, so English, Spanish, and Chinese. What you see on the screen now is the e-learning platform's landing page. So what you first see when you click on that e-learning tab on the Sedex welcome page. And on it, you can see the key product areas of Sedex, and therefore also the key topic areas where we hold content. So for example, if you want to find out more about the SAQ, next slide, Tom. You can just click on the self-assessment questionnaire button, on the e-learning page. Similarly, if you want to learn about risk assessment or radar, click on the button there, and that will take you into content on those topics. We have other ways to find content too. We have a search bar that works in 3 languages, where you can enter something like data, for example, and that will return courses about that topic. There is also a browse menu, so you can use that as a different way to look at topic areas of interest. What we have also done in the platform is then repackage our existing content. We know that the old e-learning platform had an awful lot of content in it, and it had very little hand-holding for members, particularly new members who were overwhelmed by what Sedex meant and involved. So we've repackaged our existing content with more hand-holding, more guidance, and we think an easier user experience. As I said, this will be launched within the next week, so we look forward to you using it and getting feedback from you all on that. Thank you, and I hand over to Tom.
Right, thank you, Rebecca, for that. We've come to the Q&A section of the webinar. So we've been receiving questions throughout the last 40 minutes. So I'm going to go through them. Feel free to continue asking me questions if you have them. I'll be posting them to our team on the call. So we've got a question here. So it says, I have customers who ask for a CSR certificate or a score from Sedex. It is my understanding that Sedex does not give this. Will this be planned in the future? I don't know if Sarah or Joe want to, Sarah Guy Gibbons or Joe Genovese best to answer that question.
I'm happy to pick that up. So you're right, it's not something that we have particularly at the moment. Obviously, it depends a bit on what your customer is asking for specifically, on whether what we provide will be suitable. But there are a few things coming that might be suitable for your needs. So the management controls report you may already have found, there is a score on that you can link to directly from the SAQ as it is in advance. And as we move into the new world, we will be signposting that very clearly as well. So that might be something you can use. The other thing that's coming in the future is the report that Joe Genovese presented earlier around the compliance report. So that there might be something on that you can use. As I say, it does depend a bit on what exactly your customer's asking for. There are a few different things that we are developing at the moment that you may find useful.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. There's a question here, Sarah, but I think this is going to be best to be answered by you. We've got, is the ability to pay in the new way already been released or still pending? I think this is regarding the new supplier dashboard and payment journey.
So the new supplier dashboard and card payments on the new platform is going to be released tomorrow. However, one thing to note is that it will only be available to those suppliers who are joining following an invite from the buyer, and only those who have one site.
Right. And Sab, whilst I have you, are we still able to pay by invoice?
Yes, you can still pay by invoice. If you choose BACS payment instead of card payment, then it will redirect you into advance, and then you can pay using bank transfer.
Great. Okay. And then there's a question about where or how can I access the new onboarding process?
Yeah, so that's again, you will only be able to access it if you have an invite from a buyer member and you click on Join Sedex following the buyer invite. It will take you into the new onboarding journey.
Right. Thank you. Sarah Timms, we have a question here around issue titles. Will the issue title cleanup be applicable to historical audits or only audits moving forward?
It will only be for audits moving forward that the auditor will get that functionality to select.
Right. Thank you, Sarah. We've got another question. This one's for Katrina. Will there be the ability to link with more than 3 relationships to reflect true supply chains?
Thanks, Tom. Yes, I've been looking at the best way to do this in the new platform. We've been talking to a lot of members in the last 6 months, and at the moment we're in the final stages of looking at what solution options we have. So hopefully we'll be able to provide more information about that fairly soon. But it's definitely something that is a big business requirement for us to be able to enable you to link further down your supply chain and beyond the 3 current tiers.
Awesome. Thank you, Katrina. Joe, Genevieve, we've got some questions for you around the compliance dashboard. So one is asking, will you be adding observation status to the compliance dashboard? And another question is, what membership level do you need to access the compliance dashboard?
Yes, happy to take these. So in terms of observation status, as I mentioned during the presentation, we're currently in the early access group phase. So there's a number of data points that have already been added, of which observation status isn't one of them. But the whole purpose of the early access group is to understand what's missing and what we need to add in. So I'm happy to take that on board and go back to the team and see where that will fit in. But again, I would urge you to get in contact and join the early access group if you're interested in shaping that. Now, in regards to the membership level, this is going to be open to anybody who has access to analytics currently. So it won't be a bolt-on or an additional fee.
Awesome, thank you. Joe, whilst I still have you, actually, there's a question around the API, some interest around the API that's coming out in Q2. What data will be available through the API, and will there be a charge for it?
Yeah, happy to take this one. So this will be an audit API. So Sarah GG, who talked to you about SAQ, did a large piece of work to understand what our various customers needed, and audit API was front and foremost the most important one that was requested. So what that will contain is information on audits within your supply chain, alongside the granular data within each of those audits, so non-compliances and all the pieces that are involved in that. Now, that will be available in mid Q2. There will be a commercial price around it, but we don't know yet what that price is, so I wouldn't want to mention.
Right, thanks, Joe, for bringing some clarity into that. Sarah G, new SAQ functionality. Will any gaps on questions that are not mandatory and have been missed by drop-downs be highlighted?
Yes, is the simple answer. That's one of the pieces of feedback that we heard very frequently from people, that they really struggled to work out which question was missing when they knew that they hadn't done all of the questions. So there are a few different parts of the new screens that highlight, hopefully a lot more clearly, and direct you to see which questions haven't been answered.
Great, thank you, Sarah. There's another question about SAQ. It's around, we have challenges completing the SAQ online. Will there be sharing options?
So that's something that won't be available in the first release that I just showed you, that we're expecting to come at the end of this quarter, but it's something that we are planning to look at for a bit later this year. We are aware of those challenges. We've spoken to a few members already, and we'll be doing more research in the next couple of months on what we can do to help people share the questions with their colleagues. So it's not coming immediately, but it will be coming later this year.
Awesome. Sarah Timms, I don't know if you're able to answer this one. When will the offline audits tool be ready, also known as OAT?
So we are aiming for H2, at the beginning of H2 for that. Although any audit companies on the call, if you'd like to be part of the early access group for testing that, because its development is well underway, then please get in touch at the end, because we're keen to get that tool, the digital tool, in front of auditors for feedback.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. Question around I think this one's going to be for Joe. From a supplier's perspective, will I be able to see when my audit runs out or isn't valid anymore?
So great question. I think the key thing about this product is it's for each of the buyers to set their own parameters. And for that reason, you wouldn't be able to see in this first release as a supplier, when your audit runs out, that would be the buyer's responsibility to get in touch with yourself or to communicate that to you. There is potential future options for us to look at exposing that, but we're still very much in discovery on that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Oh, there's a question around when the compliance dashboard is going to be released as well, Joe. Some keen members asking about that. Yes, so we're aiming currently for late Feb to mid-March as a release date. Brilliant, thank you. We've got questions. Will suppliers get more visibility on their compliance status score, Sarah? G, I think this one might be for you around SAQ and around the score.
Apologies, is this when you say compliance status score? I'm not 100% sure if this is to do with the management control score that we were talking about, or if it's to do with the compliance dashboard. If it's about the management control score, you do already have access to that through your SAQ. There's a link directly through there, or if you click into the Sedex Analytics platform, it's in there. For the compliance dashboard, that's something that Joe was speaking about earlier, and obviously is due out later this year.
Thank you. Sarah Timms, will the non-compliance guidance be updated after the changes have been made to the issue titles?
Actually, I'm not sure if I can answer that question, but it's possible Rebecca can, because she handles the training and communication. Rebecca, is that something you can answer? And if not, then we can get back to you on that question.
No, I would say that that's something we will get back to you about that after this.
Also, if anyone who answered that question about the compliance guidance could leave that email in the chat, we can get back to you and follow up with you on that one. Katrina, when you invite this one's actually more for Sad. When you invite a new supplier, can you do it via the ZC number?
I think that might be for me, because it's, if a supplier has a ZC number, they're already existing member. So yes, the new search functionality for linking in the new platform allows you to search by site name, supplier name, ZC number and ZS number where appropriate. So you can use the existing unique identifiers.
Excellent, thank you. This one's for Sarab. Will the reminder functionality for the inviter supplier be activated for historical invites or only new ones?
So my understanding is that it would be applicable to all the invites that are sent after the reminder functionality was launched on the platform. So any invites after that would have got reminders. Any invites that were sent before the launch of that, we don't have any reminders. And I'm not sure of the exact date when this was implemented, but I can check and get back.
Excellent, thank you, Sam. We've got a question around, should all users have access to the new platform now? I think I can probably pick that one up. All A and AB members who are company admins should have access to the new platform via at the beginning of the presentation. If you don't and you think that you should have access, please speak to the help desk or speak to your relationship manager and we can look into that for you. There's also a help center that has loads of guidance and walk through information for you to use that as well. Brilliant. I think we're starting to slow down on the questions. I think there's a plug for a webinar on the 23rd of February for SAQ and practice top tips for suppliers to complete the SAQ. So if you haven't already, sign up to that one. We've got another question that's just come through. Not all members have access to credit cards. Can I pay by invoice? Yes, you can. I think Sad answered that question earlier. So yes, you can pay by invoice. That's not changed. Excellent. I think that's all of the questions for now. So we'll be sending everyone who's on the call an email asking for feedback. So it'd be great if you could leave some comments about today's webinar. It helps us make these better for you. Don't forget, you can get in touch and get involved with any future products Learn more through our e-learning platform, or even contact our help desk or your relationship manager for more information. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.